social media. A lot of risks, right?
It really makes me nervous.
Is this a good or bad thing that social media has been able to infiltrate politics?
And what is it that has made people so lonely? It's their stupid phone.
You look at some of the fake news on these platforms, it's being created by people who are taking advantage of the fact that they've been given that access.
Anytime something stimulates or triggers sensation in an area where you keep your phone, you might believe it's your phone.
The way the technologist Darren Lanier puts it is that these companies offer you shiny things in exchange for minutes of your attention.
And growing evidence of messaging platforms being used to spread misinformation.
I want to blame
This was filmed about 2 weeks before my dad's 30th birthday. It's a surprise party. My grandfather filmed this. He died in 2003. I was only 4 years old.
This is lying on the front lawn, looking up. Oh, sun is there, looking straight up. Looks pretty nice, huh?
What he filmed on these tapes is some of my only connection left to him. As I was going through these tapes, I thought about how we connect with each other now, and how this kind of filming has become something that's much more shareable. I needed to talk to somebody who really knew what it was like before social media.
Hello?
Hey, Grandma.
Okay.
I could use a bit more now. Huh? Not having much luck getting that on. So, another technical problem.
This is my grandmother. She's kind of a badass. She was born in Sydney, Nova Scotia in 1939, right at the beginning of the Second World War. She marched in protest of nuclear bombs, and she's been a champion for women's rights. I sat down with her to get her opinion on Facebook and the current climate.
Well, one of the first benefits of Facebook was that I have a big extended family, and this was a way of seeing what they were doing with their lives and so on and so forth. Yeah. But I saw pictures of them growing up and all that sort of thing, so it was really fun. It has a nice, for a moment you can go back there, but not just the, seeing how the kids grow up, but just taking you back in place in an instant. The Grandmothers for Africa are part of the Stephen Lewis Foundation. We do a national walk, so we switched from doing a physical 5-kilometer walk to doing a digital walk. But the other group that really uses social media all the time is the Grandmothers Advocacy Network. Our whole goal is to write messages and have interviews with politicians to influence the passing of legislation. It's involved with human rights, access to medicine, education, especially for girls and women. And the third one is to work with other groups to eliminate violence against women and girls. I think it's given ordinary people a little more power. I worry about young people spending too much time on it, especially if they haven't had a home where conversations took place at the dinner table, where, their opinion was listened to. The older people that I interact with, it's just used as a tool for practical things. Another thing that happened with Facebook is I put very few really personal things on there. Okay. I used to put some, but I've almost gone completely away from it.
Why is that?
Just, it's not important to me. We didn't really need it before. You called your friends. I think it's added to the efficiency of my life. I don't think it's added that much to my happiness. And I even use the emojis.
That's pretty impressive.
For fun.
Yeah, that's good.
I think my favorite's probably the little grandmother one. It just looks like me.
Well, Grandma, I'm a young person, and so are my cousins. So my mom got remarried, and Jake got an invite. He and I found ourselves in a conversation about dating apps, so I filmed some of it.
But I use dating apps quite frequently, I do say so. And it's weird because you can't get a read for a person. You gotta have all these tells on the profile, like a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
I feel like I gotta pretend like I'm somebody else just because I don't know how to express myself in so many words in a bio or with a couple of photos.
What's it like to be celibate until marriage?
So that's what I was hoping he would ask me, and he hasn't. It feels like a science more than an actual relationship. And I don't know who I'm trying to be. I'm just trying to connect to some person, however that may be. Overall, my experience has been talking to a woman in person. That's when I get the most genuine read on a person.
Yeah.
And if you meet them face to face, that's the ideal way to meet somebody, I feel.
Jake is my cousin on my dad's side of the family. After Jake's sobering insight, I figured there was a little more to talk about. So I went over to his house to hang out with him for a bit.
Hey, way to go, any more no spirit airplane.
Good?
Hey, how we doing?
Okay, we good?
Beauty.
Maybe I could reiterate what I said at the wedding. I said it 10 times. Bumble's been good to me. The difference is the girls got a message first on Bumble. I don't know. I got no problem messaging girls, so I mean, I like to shoot my shot. I'm batting 100, one for every 10. You know, if I send the first message, a lot of time I'll get shot down, but whatever. I'm not. If I send a message and it doesn't get an answer, it's not the end of the world. Oh, certainly, it made it a lot easier, because if I had trouble with confidence kind of thing, I would have trouble going out and on weekends and that kind of thing. And dating apps certainly made it easier, just because I felt like I was a little bit behind the veil, right? I wasn't exposing myself as much, and I wasn't as vulnerable as I would be.
I feel like this documentary is just going to be like a Tinder ad.
Oh yeah, and this is Jake's friend Mina.
Do we look cute?
Is that even does Dolly Parton sleep on her bed?
It's very clear you were with a Bumble girl.
Yeah, I got hooked up with the stickers. I got a visor over there too.
But you didn't get a premium membership?
Didn't get a premium membership.
That would have been kind of dope, no?
I just got my heart broken. That's it. Got my heart broken. That was crazy, dude.
Yeah,
I didn't know I was
that was
fucking
nuts.
Leonardo DiCaprio over here.
Yeah. I just feel like you might actually be upset.
All that they just want me for one night. Talk about a bad experience with an app. You can, there's a term for it. It's called catfishing, and that's happened where someone's looked rather attractive on the profile or whatever, like looked one way, and then you meet them and it's not quite as advertised. We see a photo of somebody and we kind of put them into a category right away. It's pretty judgmental, but it's just a matter of nature. That's how we behave.
Jake's onto something. Article after article has been written about how social media isn't inhibiting our ability to find connection, but to sustain intimate connection in the present.
I think it's easy to speak for your own generation and know what the repercussions. We only got introduced to social media realistically in grade 9 and 10, whereas people like your sister that are like
I've only known it.
have literally had it since they were like in grade 6 and have had more followers in grade 6 than we'll have in our whole lives. I just can't imagine being like just like 3 or 4 years younger.
No.
Social media only bothers me, and I only feel like it has power over me when I'm like not doing too well to begin with.
Interesting. So when things are good, it's better, but when things aren't going so well, it can make things tougher for you. I'd agree with that.
I don't know. You definitely don't want, like, when thousands of people are seeing pictures of you, you definitely don't want them to be like, damn, this girl's ugly.
Yeah. Right.
But I also have found that it's like kind of empowering to like, you know, post stuff where like you don't look good or like you're not wearing makeup. You know what I mean?
You look, just accept the way you look.
Yeah, and it's kind of
that.
like, then it comes like around full circle. It's like, okay, you care too much when you're like posting this stuff where you're like fully done and you're looking so hot. But then you care too much in a different way when you're like deliberately posting stuff.
People can tell when you're, like you said, either end of the spectrum, like those people that are trying their hardest, and then the people that are like, oh, I just don't give a shit, I'm such a cool person.
I cared too much like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But right now,
it's a joke, dude. Like,
you're just doing whatever you want.
And I think both of us are so confident in who we are. Like, we have such a good base and like a friend group around us that it really doesn't matter what people think. But I know for a fact that I couldn't have said the same thing, like you said, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And cut.
Yeah. That was great, guys.
Thank you.
Drove downtown in the rain. I gotta, Everyone's already there? You got your dad's keys?
In spending some time with my cousins in Muskoka this past Thanksgiving, I realize it's important to look to the future. This is Sharon Lozon. She's the guidance counselor at the high school that I used to go to. I figured she'd be a good person to consult on the current state of affairs with teens and cell phone use.
Here in my particular role, we see the negative side of it. And when kids are down and crying and upset because of something that was posted or some comment that was made on a post that they made, that's what we see. So I only kind of see that side of it. I mean, for example, today I didn't have anything connected to social media, but yesterday I would say 95% of my conversations yesterday were connected to social media, the internet. So it really does fluctuate. I would say in terms of the percentage or severity, I would say 70% is probably considered like minimal, where I'm having an issue with my friend, and then 30% would have been more dire, right? Where there's actual concern for the students' well-being, safety. Has it gone to the point where there is like a real crisis? I haven't had that. I have had experiences where students have been so overwhelmed with the social media and the things that are happening that they may be sent to the hospital. It is still fairly new and it's always evolving, right? Like, but students right now, I know Snapchat's still quite popular, TikTok. So I would say those are probably the newer ones. Now I'm sure there's something newer that's out there that I probably don't know yet, but Snapchat, I think, for me, has been one of the ones that I'm hearing a lot here in our building as causing some issues for students based on what's been posted, and when students think that it disappears, it doesn't really disappear, and there's other ways. So Snapchat has been the one that I've been hearing a lot more, because even within like a 76-minute period, for some students, it's challenging not to pick up the phone or look at their phone or check their post or whatever. Yeah. I would venture to say it's probably a learning curve for parents in general as well. For anybody, it would be a learning curve a bit. I think on average, parents are doing a good job with monitoring their students' social media use, their posts. The best way to learn is to sort of experience it. Okay, what's the hype? When I look at social media, I like to look at both sides of it. That I don't want it to be like a blanket, like it's all negative, right? Like there's lots of fabulous things that students can do with social media to promote themselves, to make connections, to people, and sort of emphasizing that, I think, has been my focus with students and with parents. When parents come in and like, I want my kid off of all social media, I'm like, well, hold on. There are some benefits. We just have to look at what those benefits are. There's lots of positive things that students can use social media for. And it's just making sure that they are aware of what those positive things are. And being mindful, like generally being mindful of what they're posting, right? Like we know that just because they posted in grade 10 doesn't mean it's gone when they're 35 and looking for a job. And so just making sure they understand that when they're posting certain pieces or when they're following or even liking certain posts, that it has a lasting impact.
I've learned a lot throughout the process of filming this documentary. By going through my VHS tapes, spending 3 months with no social media, talking to my 4 interviewees, my friends, my family. Social media is not going away anytime soon. It's everyone's job to make the most of it. And last, and most importantly, I need to